Okay, go ahead.
Okay, this is the address is 1032 Marengo Street. It's this little blue house here, and this is the little bungalow or shotgun house that Lee Harvey Oswald arranged for Judyth Vary to rent while she was here. Now remember, he was her handler, and he accidentally, not so accidentally, bumped into her when she first came to town at a post office and dropped a newspaper. And actually, she dropped a newspaper. He reached down, picked it up, and introduced himself. And next thing you know, they become friends. And he starts introducing her to people. And it turns out, she was here to work for Dr. Osner in this cancer research program, not realizing it was a cancer bioweapon program. And as she got to know Lee Oswald, which of course he was sent here to handle her, in addition to all the other jobs he was doing, she didn't realize any of that. It was completely, she just thought it was a happenstance meeting. Anyway, long story short, turns out he's involved in all the same. He got her a job at the coffee company, just like him, the cover jobs. He got her this house. He arranged transport. She was a little girl in a big city, didn't know how to get around from point A to point B. Showed her the bus routes and the streetcars and all that stuff. And then she found out that he was involved in the same bioweapon project that she was. He knew Dr. Osner, he knew David Vary, he knew all these people. And so it appeared to her that it was just a stroke of good luck that she ran into him. It wasn't a stroke of good luck. It was him using his CIA intelligence training to arrange that accidental meeting so that they could become friends. Now, they were never supposed to become lovers. That was completely unforeseen. It was not planned. That just happened. And it became a problem later on. But this house here, if you'll turn that back around, there's a back entry where the lady who owned that, you can see there's two mailboxes on the house. So there's actually two residences there. And around back was where the landlord lived, and Judyth lived in the front. But in order for Lee to be able to come and hang out with his lover, Judyth Vary, his landlord left a key on the back windowsill, and Oswald would grab that key and come in the back door and go through the landlord's residence through an interior door into Judyth Vary's apartment. That way, no one was the wiser, neighbors, etc., that Lee Oswald was meeting Judyth Vary at her house. He wasn't coming in the front door, he was coming in the back. And that's sort of how they did their little rendezvous. It was always a little sneak. They were sneaking around as far as, because Lee Harvey Oswald was married, and he wasn't supposed to be having an affair with this person who he was handling. And so they just had reasons to want to keep it secret. And of course, I haven't mentioned this yet, Judyth Vary was also married. Her last name's Baker. Her husband was gone. He was always out in the Gulf working on the oil rigs. But she had just recently got married. Oswald was married with two kids. And he was an intelligence agent, supposed to just be handling her, not sleeping with her. So they tried to sneak around a little bit. But anyway, this is right around the corner from Oswald's house, which is where we're headed next. And if you've noticed, well, there's no way for you to notice, but Oswald had 4 jobs that summer of '63. You talk about a busy man. The first job was cover. It was totally fake, but it put him in a location that covered for his 3 other jobs. There's 2 other jobs in that area. There's 2 other jobs downtown where to show up at the Newman building and either participate in Operation Mongoose that day or participate in pro-Castro leafleting. It all happened in that downtown area, which we've gone around. It was basically a 5 or 6 block square area. And in the French Quarter, which we went to all those different restaurants where they sometimes visited, things of that nature, it wasn't that far removed from Canal Street, which is sort of the epicenter of all his pro-Castro activities. So jobs 1, 2, and 3 were all downtown, all in close proximity, certainly within walking distance. Job number 4, which is Medical Manhattan, is clear on the other side of town, on the other end of Magazine Street, and they include Dr. Mary Sherman's apartment, which we just showed you in an earlier video, the Mouse House and the other lab, on Louisiana Avenue, which was David Vary's. This is Judyth Vary's house, and we're fixing to go to Lee Oswald's house, and the infectious disease lab and all that stuff. So jobs 1, 2, 3 are downtown, and job 4 is out here in the outskirts at the other end of Magazine Avenue. And so it's just interesting to see how these things were laid out, and the movements of Oswald in the summer of '63, and just how busy he was, and all the people that he ran with, how tight a circle he kept, because they were so busy. Oswald didn't have a lot of free time to do a lot of, just normal things normal people do. He was busy from sun up to sundown. He'd literally get on the bus at Magazine Street at his apartment in the morning. The bus would take him right by her house, right out there is Magazine Street. He'd pick her up. They'd go to Riley Coffee, and she would work her job all day. He would clock in and run off and do his other 2 jobs during the day, then come back, clock out, and then they would either come out here again to do their Medical Manhattan stuff, or on the rare occasions they had off time and they weren't doing Medical Manhattan in the evenings, he could go and she could go to Audubon Park and act like lovers. And that's what they did. And that was their life this whole summer. So wanted to show you, go ahead and show them again, the house for Judyth Vary. You'll notice when we show you Oswald's house, it's going to look very similar. A lot of shotgun houses here in New Orleans.